Alright, well, I just ate my lunch, more chicken, the last of the chicken, the frozen, the frozen chicken that I could just throw in the oven and would be nice and done. It was something called something Souls, Southern something or other chicken. And it was at Brookshire Brothers grocery store. It was priced at $16.99, but on sale for $9.99. So I was like, well, I don't know this brand, but it usually sells for $16.99, on sale for $9.99, and so maybe it's one of those things that is, you know, above, Tyson and stuff like that. Tyson and the generic store bought, store brand like Food Club and crap like that. So now might be a good opportunity to check it out. It was pretty good. It was something that was worth the $10. Definitely. It was good. So I'm glad I went and bought that. Wasn't a whole lot in there, but I got, essentially 2 days of meals out of it. Still watching these react things. Still watching these react things. I'm trying to find good ones. But even these like video game stuff, I think this React thing is trying to do what a lot of people are doing, make it for as broad a base as possible, and while at the same time trying to be like, all right, we are realizing we're catching this demographic. Ah, man, getting this. I'm getting the Ace Ventura. Needing that. That's like, what am I watching now? Let me just see this. Boys and girls, guess the video game challenge. Guess it by death. So I've been watching a few things about pretty much lots of stuff by video games. And it seems it's just like, I don't know any of these video games. I haven't bought a video game in like 10 years, more than 10 years. I don't even know what was the last one that I actually bought. Oh, I'll bet the last ones that I bought were probably the Oblivion Skyrim double package, maybe Civ 6, which I regret to this day because I paid for it ahead of time before Um, I before I waited, like I pre-bought it basically. I pretty much I bought it like when it was like able to be bought, and like it's just like ever since I bought it and had the chance to mention it, I'm just like Civ 6 sucks. I know a lot of people are like, it's just like so many people like it, and I bet they like it because either they've never played Civ 4 and before, or they like Civ 6 because they like a totally different kind. Totally different kind of way of playing that kind of game, slash they want to play a real time strategy game like StarCraft and Age of Empires. Civ 6 is kind of in between real time strategy and turn based strategy. And turn based strategy is just, in my opinion, not meant to be played multiplayer. Some people can argue that, and I guess you kind of can argue that it can be played multiplayer. I just don't think it is meant to be played multiplayer. I think it's kind of inherently a single player game, and trying to force it into the multiplayer space is kind of not, well, it's forcing it into the multiplayer space. I think almost every of the 4X games, the empire building games, are single player games. If you want them to be multiplayer games, you have to design them around multiplayer, and that requires a lot of forethought. And if you design them to be multiplayer games, I think it's kind of difficult to go back a step and make it a single player game. Because something like that requires a shitload of hardware in order to make it good, in my mind. Yeah, you can play it single player probably, but then it's going to be small. And why do you want to play something like that small? In my mind, again, personal preference. When I play Civilization games, always, I like to play it really with on huge maps and not on like the tiny single player 1v1 maps, because why do you want to play a game like that up to 100 turns and then be like forced to go at it with like 5 cities and 5 cities versus 5 cities and then be done? What are you going to do? Play 5 games a day? I mean, that's whatever. 5 games of Civ a day, play 1 game of Civ, move to another game, play that game, move to another game. I don't know. It just, you can. That's just not the way I kind of play video games. I kind of play a video game for this amount of time until I'm like, yeah, I don't really feel like playing that game anymore. That game that game, that playthrough of that game. And then I'm just bored of it for like months. I switch. So that's just the way I play video games. It's the way I've always, I exhaust the thing, and then I move on. personal preference. It's kind of the way I drive cars. I used to drive cars. No maintenance, no nothing. Drive that bitch until it's into the ground and it's a pile of rust, and then move on to the next one. Which is totally not the way you're supposed to drive a car. But when you only have $1,200 to spend on a car, why spend $300, $500, $800 on fixing it after you've already driven it for a year? Well, why even spend money on insurance? Sure, if you crash into somebody or they crash into you, I mean, you know, on the other hand, you might die. So, hence the problem. And then that's why rich people needed to make the law of everybody has to have insurance. Because they didn't want to fund public transit because they're rich assholes, but they didn't want to have their rich expensive cars repaired by them when someone crashed into them with their beater ass piece of shit. So again, rich people did what rich people always do. They said, you poor people, we're going to put the cost all the way onto you. And we're going to say, hey, insurance companies, I'm rich. I have this fucking excellent car. I have good credit rating. Doesn't that mean my insurance should be cheaper? Handshake, handshake, wash my balls. Their credit rating sucks ass. Their car is a piece of shit. Doesn't that mean their insurance should be really expensive? Handshake, handshake, wash the balls. Aren't we understanding that this system is really fucked up? All of this system of fuck-uppery ties into each other. By the way, in the early 1900s, every city had a shitload of mass transit. Had like what do they call them? There was some kind of rail cars, like the electric rail cars and stuff that would go around cities. And then cars, automobiles got introduced, and they were like, let's rip these up. I want to drive my fancy car around. We can put some buses in place, right? Yeah, we could do some buses in there. A couple cities did some subways. But yeah, they're basically like fuck mass transit. That's for poor people. I want to be able to ride in my car nice and segregated from all those pores. Getting off on a tangent again. I like to do that rant about rich people. Sorry. But, I'm not really hating on rich people. I'm just kind of explaining the truth. I'm sorry if it seems covered in like a ball of coating of hate, but I mean, our society is what it is. If our society was, a ball of candy wrapped in rainbows and everything was beautiful, we wouldn't have anything to complain about, really. You know, if I could, if airplane travel was free, and I could travel the world for free, you know, I didn't have any, free food everywhere, and food was good. I mean, if I genuinely didn't have anything to bitch about, I would have to bitch about something, probably. That's all I'm really good at. What is the sun doing up here still? Ugh, it's so bright. You notice that hats aren't as good as they used to be? What is this crap about? Yeah. I think people would realize my complaints are really petty. You know, we're complaining about like having a, and I'm not in this boat here, but having to work 60 hours a week, barely getting sleep, and then you have to pay for child care, and your education is crap for your kids, and all of that shit. So it's just one thing on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. And it's just every year it's something else added on top of the list of shit. And you can understand. Thankfully for me, I'm poor, and I just keep on saying, well, fine. I just don't need that then. Fuck it. Pretty soon I'll be like, you know what? I don't think I need to, breathe. Fuck oxygen. It's outdated. We used to need to breathe, but people used to do that, but I don't think we need to do that shit anymore. Anyways, back to React. Let's, let's see if I can get some of these correct. Dude, a lot of this stuff makes me feel like I feel kind of like I did when I was a kid, left behind. But at least when I was a kid, I was in school, so I could stay kind of knowledgeable about this shit by interacting with the kids. Now, and video games weren't really the thing, weren't really too popular. It was all about like movies and stuff and TV, movies and TV, which so I could kind of stay in the game a little bit, but now like I can't hang with any of this shit because man, and it shows because like I don't know any of the slang. Like whenever I hear some shit, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And I'm like, at least I could type it up on Google, and most of the time I'm like, all right, that's what that means. All right, I have to look it up like 5 times, but like then I'm like, all right, and it's just like it's kind of tiring to figure out what this shit means. Ugh. Like I said, it's kind of tiring. Keeping up. Keeping up with the times, man. Keeping up with the times. All y'all moving too fast. You're like Brooks. I saw a car once when I was a kid. And now they're everywhere. The world went and got itself in a big damn hurry. I'm gonna say some controversial shit right now. Oblivion and Skyrim suck. I barely played any of those two, and I'll still say they suck. I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake at all. All I've seen of it is I've seen a little bit of it, and I'm just gonna say that sucks too. For various reasons, but I won't get into any of it right here. Back in a minute. I don't know how many times they reference the Elder Scrolls series, but you gotta pick. Everyone gotta play Daggerfall, the Unity engine Daggerfall. You gotta play it once in your life. If you even, especially if you like Skyrim and Oblivion, you gotta play Daggerfall Unity engine version. I've seen people play Daggerfall, just the Steam version, and you gotta toss that out. And you gotta play the Unity version with the uh, there's a mod pack on Nexus Mods. Look it up. You gotta download that famous mod pack and go on Nexus Mods and poke around down there. And yeah, do some mod downloading. If you don't have a computer, I don't know why you don't have a computer, laptop or desktop, whatever. Same thing with Morrowind. Get Morrowind, mod it up, put some shit on there that needs to be on there, should be on there. Devs don't do enough work on their game before they release it and after they release it. Putting crap in there that should be in there. And it's also same thing with Civ 4. Civ 4 is the best one, but get Civ 4 and play and get the Caveman to Cosmos mod. It's a total conversion mod. It makes Civ 4 better than all the other Civs by everything. Basically, it makes Civ 4 pretty much the best 4X game I've ever seen. I don't think there's any other 4X game that comes close that is like it. Stellaris is. Stellaris is just different, but I mean, it's in a different kind of category. It's a pausable 4X game. So I call it I don't know. I want to call it a pausable real-time strategy, but even that's not really a good classification for it. So whatever. It's like, I don't know. I'll stop talking now. So I want to get back, and I don't want to keep letting this friggin' thing get longer and longer. It's already at 25 plus minutes. All right. Well, at the end of the Boys versus Girls video game challenge, they had a thing where AI generated not a video game, but a video game cover for the video game that they would get, like the winner somehow, somehow a winner, whatever. And those were entertaining to see. So that was a nice way to finish that off. I liked it. That made me laugh after feeling so pathetic. Because wow. I just, while it's fun to play those. It's fun to play that game. It's just, it's crappy to be like, man, I know like none of those. I want to play more. I want to do more of the stuff that I was doing yesterday. I was doing yesterday the internet's hardest trivia, blah 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 stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can find more of those. People do those because I only found like 2 of those yesterday, and I don't know if they find more of those. So let's see if I can get more of those. Text them, text Rich, sneak up Rich, boo.